Hello guys, and welcome back to another For Honor Builds Hero Build video with your boy Daniel Does It. Today we're focused on Zhanhu, aka Sunda, and the mode we're focused around is Dominion. Let's go ahead and get into his 3 perk selection as always. Now this one, I kind of switched it around a little bit. I thought I was going to go with Devour, Endurance, Fresh Focus, or Headhunter, but I ended up going with Shields Up, Endurance, and Fresh Focus. So let me go ahead and tell you why. A lot of the time you're not able to get executions off because there's always somebody else trying to help their teammates, or you're usually in gigging situations. The only time I was able to pull off executions is if I ever was able to catch a 1v1 in Dominion, and if I was in Revenge and other players are kind of scared because I'm zoning out when I'm in Revenge, and they'll let me get an execution, which even though doing an execution, you're still going to get health from the execution. All this does is adds an extra additional, as you can see, 15 health upon your execution. Shield Aegis, 20% to 15 is like 4, so you're getting like a 19 health shield on your Shields Up. There's no other area where you get shields from this character or perks unless you're getting them from Black Prior or other characters that have the feat that allows everybody, like Flinox, to give everybody a shield. Other than that, if that's not going on for you, Aegis as a perk is going to be useless for you in this mode. Shields Up at least gives you a 15 health shield regardless of what feat level you are or renown. You literally start every time of the match, and then if you guys are breaking and you happen to get revived, at least you have some more damage you can take before it actually gets into your actual life. So that's the reason why I went with Shields Up over the first 3 common perks. Now my mid-tier perk obviously is Endurance, and I went with that one because who doesn't love being able to feint, do all kind of crazy moves with having less diamond cost reduction on all those moves you do. Now if you guys don't understand how this works, it gives you 3% diamond cost reduction per renown level, and a renown level is a feat. So if you have, let's say, your 3rd feat, which is the longbow usually for this character, that is renown level 2. At that point you have 9% stamina cost reduction on all your moves, your zones, your feints, your lights, your heavies. Whatever you do, it's going to cost less, allowing you to stay in the fight longer than your opponent. As my high tier perk, which is Survival Instincts, Headhunter, and Fresh Focus, I went with Fresh Focus because Headhunter, it is not so bad matched up with Shields Up because you get a 15 plus a 16, which in total you have 31 more health in general, or more damage you can take, which is like a heavy attack from a second combo of a character's moveset, or a heavy and a light, or a couple of light attacks. Not so bad, yeah, cool, but this requires you to execute players. And again, we're in Dominion, so you might not execute as much as you want to. From my opinion, it's more better suited for breach attack or defense. Fresh Focus now, since they buffed it up, awesome. You get stamina whenever you're exhausted, which probably rarely happen with this build. As you can see, we have feats and perks that are going to help you keep your stamina up, keep you in the fight, and not running out of stamina like your opponent. Especially if you keep an eye on your stamina bar when you're fighting, you'll know not to go exhausted. But in case the fact you do, or you're getting bashed into exhaustion, whatever counter, guard break, blocking, and parries you do will regenerate your regenerate your stamina by 20%, allowing you to get into the back in the fight much sooner than you would without this perk. So in my opinion, I really enjoy this build that I created for Zhanhu and Dominion. I messed around with a little bit, and there was somebody who was really on me about my Zhanhu perk, and I'm so sorry that it took me some time. During the holidays I took a break. After that, I've been really grinding in my internship for this pharmacy technician I've been trying to obtain. I have 120 hours I gotta do where I work for free, but in between that time I've been trying to get these builds together. It is not easy grinding to rep 8 or 9 starting from 0 on these heroes. I really hope you guys are patient with me and are enjoying these build videos. So let's go ahead and get into the feat selections now. At first I was having a lot of fun. I was using Fire Tusk, all his fire feats, Quillin Roost, Fiery Breath, and Scorching Deluge. But now that I've played with it a little bit, I see, especially when I get ganked, I want to have other perks or feats that are going to help me out in those situations. But yet, at the same time, because we're in Dominion, I do want to have some fun with his other little fiery feats that make this character who he is. So My first feat I went with was Fiery Tusk. Throwing your projectile deals low damage. It's like any other kunai on Orochi and other characters that do have a kunai. But if the target is on fire, it explodes for additional damage, which is amazing. It really does take about a life bar and a half to 2 life bars if people are on fire. And you know, a lot of the time people like to run away. So if people are running away, this is the only character I've used that had a kunai. So my favorite thing about it is if somebody's trying to run away, I just throw a kunai at them and they die, and they're just like, wow, thanks, like, sorry, whatever. I'm like, oh, you the one that ran away, you know, you should have still been trying to fight me. I mean, you never know, you probably could have killed me. I don't know how many times I've been in critical health and I won a fight, surprisingly, in my own opinion. I'm like, whoa, I can't believe I did that. Woo. But I choose that over Fast Recovery and Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter is not a bad perk. It is good for Genki situations, but we do have zones to heal, and because Dominion is not so widespread out, you will have allies that will be able to help you in time. Changing that as a perk, I don't really see a thing is to do is necessary in Dominion. Now, faster recovery isn't so bad. I was thinking about going for this, but then we got Nukubu or Nukibi or Nukabai, whatever you want to say or pronounce that, I don't know how. We are gaining stamina on successful hits on top of our endurance, where we have higher stamina cost reduction, which makes our moves cost less. And then we have fresh focus, that if we even happen to be exhausted, we're going to be coming back real faster. So instead of using those, I use Fiery Tusk, especially to go with my 4th feat where people are on fire. And even if you don't have the 4th feat or unlocked yet in your game, if you have like a shaman or any Viking that has a fire flask and they're on fire, bam, you can throw your Fiery Tusk at them and gain that exploding damage bonus. On top of that, there might be other Zhanhus who are playing with the little roost trap. I was playing with that trap, but a lot of people see it before it comes. And one thing that I experienced using the trap with the Tusk is people have hail banners, people have second wind. So that's something you do want to keep an eye out when you're fighting other players. If you're trying to use those type of feats, is make sure they don't have their second wind active, or make sure they already used their hail banner, or if they do, wait to use your fire skills until those skills on the opponent's team are used already, so that way they can't cancel out the damage you've done with these moves. Alrighty, going on to the second feat, Winner's Advantage. Gain a temporary attack buff after a successful attack. Now, this is kind of like Deadly, but it lasts a little bit longer. The cooldown isn't that long as well. It's a pretty decent skill. I love it because when you do an attack, like usually the light to go into a zone, or if you light to go into a heavy and you feint your unblockable heavy into another light, that light or that zone is going to be doing additional damage. So instead of your zone attack doing like 25, it'll be doing like 30 to 31 damage, which is a lot of damage if you think about it, especially if somebody's getting hit by it twice, etc. on top of your light attacks that you do usually before you get into your zone attack. I choose this over Thick Skin and Quillen Roost, and I already explained kind of why I didn't use Quillen Roost. It's a cool skill, don't get me wrong, but a lot of players already see it because there's a little flame going off from where the trap is, and whenever somebody's fighting a Zhanhu, they kind of expect that to happen, so they use a lot of healing feats to cancel out the damage you've done. So let's use something where they can't cancel out the damage you've done. I mean, they can if they heal themselves, but when they're in the fight, they're not going to be healing you. If they got into a trap, they're going to back up and heal themselves. This way, not just that one time from the trap you have a damage, but this is always going within your fight, in your battle with the player. Thick Skin, it's cool if you want to try to like stay a while alive, if you're more better at being I don't know. I am an aggressive player, and I think Thick Skin kind of helps me sometimes when I'm taking hits because I'm being too aggressive, but I like being able to do more damage because a lot of times Zhanhu's move rely on fainting into zones or fainting into another light attack, which doesn't do a lot of damage. Winning Advantage will make that up in terms of what you do with him, in my own opinion. Thick Skin, I feel, will be good for like Breach Attack, where you're trying to survive as much as you can without making your respawn count go low, and when you're fighting against a Genki situation in Breach and or the commanders, etc. Going on to the third feat, I choose Nikibu or Nukabi or whatever, however you say it, Nukibi, because, like I said, I did want to use my little fiery feats. I found this to be really useful, especially since, you know, you're fading. I feel like the whole thing about Zhanhu If you try to use him and you don't know how to feint, you're going to get punished a lot. Because all a lot of people do that I notice that I fight is wait for your unblockable hit to come. If you don't do unblockables and you feint into different attacks like a side dash heavy or a side dash light, or you poke them and dash, and you don't do your unblockable, a lot of players don't know how to fight you. If you do your zone, some people will expect the zones to just wait for you to zone so they can counter, parry your zone, and punish you. But this allows you to do all those moves on top of your endurance to gain stamina on the hit, so you can just keep going. If you know, like, there's no stopping you. Literally, I have flawless so many people with Zhanhu that I haven't done with a lot of characters in a long time, and it has been so fun. Like, they really don't know what to do when you just feed them those unblockables and feint into something else. And being able to gain stamina from doing feints is a wonderful thing, let's be honest. Especially on top of the stamina cost reduction, this makes you have a stamina pool that's insane. It's like having the old stat that they used to have on the old gear, where you used to have stamina cost reduction, etc., with stamina recovery, you know. Longbow is cool. It's alright. It's not as good as the Musha's fire arrow, which I don't understand why they didn't give him a fire arrow. One of my friends, aka Shinobi Beats, told me that would be too OP if they gave him a fire arrow. But yeah, they got all these other feats, you know, that are fire. But I understand that it's not so reliable. People could see it coming. In my opinion, it's good against turtles. But hey, if we could gain stamina and not go exhausted, especially against like a Yamaganda, etc., who are trying to bash you, and they're giving you revenge for bashing you, especially like a gladiator with the pokes, the poking the toes, trying to give you a manicure, a pedicure, whatever. It's awesome. It's preventing you from getting exhausted and letting these players benefit off of a max punish, you know. Longbow, in my opinion, use it for a scrimmage or something, you know. Fiery Breath, all your attacks and feats deal more damage against burning targets. Now this is awesome, because on top of the exploding damage from your Fiery Touch whenever you hit a person that's burning, literally, when I was messing around with all his fire perks, I would kill players with my feats. I didn't even have to fight them once. I just killed them with my feats. They were kicking one of my teammates. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to throw fire on them and kill them with my feats. Pretty awesome, pretty cool, but we already have Winner's Advantage, which is already increasing our attacks off of a successful hit. Sorry. So, because we have that, let's just have more stamina for the reasons that I already explained, with endurance, etc. So that's the whole reason why I've changed it up to Nukibi, or Nukabai. Going on to the fourth feat, since we have Fiery Tusk and Regenerate, we don't need in Dominion because you go to zones to heal. And Last Laugh, I mean, I try it, but because I'm not trying to say I'm super good, because we all have bad matches, we're not always doing the best, but I don't die too often to benefit from this perk. And if I do, I mean, like, this hurts your teammates as well, not just the enemies. It does help. But if somebody executes you, then it's rendered useless. At least with Scorching Deluge, you know when you want to use it. And it's going to benefit your Fiery Tusk if you do use it. And anybody else on the team who has some kind of fire skills are helping you out. Anybody else who's a Zhanhu, who's playing with you, like me and my buddy like to do Zhanhus together, and we just like to breathe fire, you know, and we'd be putting fire on people and throwing our shit when they try to run away, and they just die, and they're just like, wow, sorry, yeah, I know, I'd be mad too, yo, but it happens, you know. It's not a great radius, but it is pretty accurate. It's better than Aerostorm, I'll tell you that right now. And like I said, because we have zones to heal, we don't need Regenerate. If you'd rather have Last Laugh, in my own opinion, go with Last Laugh then, if that's what you want to do. But having fun where you don't have to die to benefit from a feat and use it more often than probably Last Laugh, unless you're dying a lot, then this is going to benefit you more for this setup. I really hope you guys enjoy. That's going to wrap it up for the Zhanhu build. Thank you guys so much for your patience and taking your time to watch, and I really wish you guys check out my other build videos and or moments. And subscribe and like if you can. Let me know what other builds you haven't seen that you want in the comments down below. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.